All right. Hey, everyone. So real quick, I just want to cover yesterday's WNBA game. Well, the biggest game that we had circled, and it was actually my favorite game and my favorite pick of the day. And it was pretty clear in my notes, which I'll get to. But I'm just here again to show you that the WNBA is scripted by the Code of Gematria. It's very easy to see once you just apply it and you're paying attention. So right now, if you look at Chicago Sky or just type in Chicago Sky, they played Las Vegas Aces yesterday, and this was in Las Vegas. So, I mean, clearly, just from the get go, Chicago Sky, we had them upsetting Aces at their home. And I just want to show some headlines right now with, even just right here Chicago Sky stage biggest comeback in NBA history to beat Las Vegas Aces. But when you look and read, you're seeing stage, right? Because it's all a performance, it's all a show. I even have a blog. I should go back and pull it up sometime, but I think it's even Disney that I guess partakes or hosts the airing of the WNBA, even just being televised, like they're a sponsor of them, Disney, right? Um, but anyways, you'll notice that they came back, as the largest comeback in WA history, and that was 28 points. And notice that they have Courtney Vandersloot on majority of these photos here talking about last night's game. Well, all right, I'll just get to my little blog here. So Sky completes a 28-point comeback to set the record in the WNBA. Total score was 104 to 95, totaling 199 points. You probably already know where I'm going to get to with that, talking about Chicago. But yeah, I just wanted to point out just how they're really making this a big deal. But in knowing that this was a 28-point comeback, in the most simple cipher, aces equates to 28. And, so there it is, the perfect alignment for the perfect team. And yeah, so there was a total of 199 points scored, which is the 46 prime number. Chicago equates to 46. And, you couldn't get it more perfect than that. And just to look at stats here, just check out the first quarter. Let me zoom that in a little bit more. But the first quarter here, Las Vegas Aces were totally spanking the Chicago Sky, right? 41 to 18. And then halftime, let's see, let me just make sure. Because I actually didn't watch the game because I was outside watering the garden and stuff. So it was 62 to 51 at half. So, I mean, they were making their comeback a little bit. But just to know that they were down 28, I had people commenting on my Patreon that they got them whenever they were plus 500 and some, or, I'm sure it reached about 600 because they were down so much in the first quarter. But, anyways, to just make it more clear of how I saw this call before the game happened, this is just my notes. I took a clip off of my Patreon. And definitely what stood out was Sky came into this game 10-5, and this game is in Las Vegas, Nevada, equates to 115. So there was that. There's the flip side where Sky are 5-3 away. They could have fell to 5-4. Illinois equals 54, but this game wasn't in Illinois, right? So, I mean, those are things to consider. And then full name Gematria, Las Vegas, Nevada equates to 133. And Aces we saw that Aces could fall to 13-3. And then also made alignment here with how they were 8-1 at home and how Chicago, Illinois equates to 82, the team that they were playing. And, so, I mean, just things just as simple as that, right? And, normally on my Patreon, if I'm hesitant about a game, I'll write that I think it's tight, or my concerns about it. But this one just flat out felt that Chicago Sky were going to win and, make Las Vegas Aces 13-3, in which they did. And talking about Courtney Vandersloot again, she was the leading scorer last night for the Chicago Sky with 25 points. And what I just noticed about her just before I went live here is, they're talking about a 28-point comeback versus the Aces equating to 28. And look what Courtney, her birthday is February 8th, 2/8. So, I mean, like, perfect person they've had in line, the perfect star, all-star to, have in that game and to be the leading scorer. And, so, but yeah, I just wanted to put that out there real quick because WNBA rigged by the numbers. And let me just check out what you guys, hey, Cable X, Michael Fisher. Yeah. So, I mean, I was even when I came in I came in checking scores here and there, but I was just like, oh my God. So I just like walked back outside and I was doing things, watering the garden and doing whatever I could outside. Yeah, and then of course we had the Mystics and Sparks game too. Yeah, we talked about that. I even told some people on Itachi's Patreon in their live chat that I was feeling Los Angeles because the Mystics fell to 11-8 in Los Angeles, California equals 118, just like how Bobby Townsend has here in the comments. There was more about that. I could probably even just pull it up right here. Let's see. This will be the last thing, and then I better get going. Not gonna lie though, I was surprised about the Atlanta Dream because Atlanta Dream equates to 79. I thought that they would fall to 7-9, but turns out they got to 8-8, like how Summer Solstice equates to 88. I wasn't leaning that way, but I'm just glad we got the two upsets. Yeah, so here was my notes on the Mystics in Los Angeles, which, I knew it would be a little bit tighter, but the only thing that was concerning for the Washington Mystics to win the game was just their overlap with Washington, D.C. Okay. Let me do this real quick. So you had Summer Solstice equating to 56 and 187, and there's a 88 for the for the Atlanta Dream getting to 88. But with Washington, D.C., you also have the perfect overlap in the same ciphers of 56 and 187. So that was a little bit concerning, but I didn't weigh in too much on that. The main points here were, the 118 connection, which I had bold here with Los Angeles, California. And yesterday did have 69 date numerology like Society of Jesus and how Sparks became 6 and 9. And one thing I liked too, what I really liked that I noticed was the new head coach that they have in there temporarily is Fred Williams for the Los Angeles Sparks. And if you notice his name gematria and Los Angeles Sparks both equate to 193, like how yesterday was the day leaving 193 days left in the year. And then notice that so far he's 0-2 with the Sparks as of going into the game yesterday, but then he became now 1-2 with the Sparks. And Los Angeles has the 37, which is the 12th prime number. Yeah, so my final notes here, I think this would be another close game. Would make sense for Washington's record to go either way, because if they were ended up to have won 2 games in a row, Washington, D.C., they would have became 137 or 13-7, and Washington, D.C. has that 137. So that was something we were looking at. But then I noticed too that as of yesterday, we entered the time of Cancer, and Cancer also has that 118. And, I was just saying it would be nice to see a Sparks upset tight game, but I think Sparks will keep it close. If you don't want to risk Sparks money line, I'd take Sparks to cover. But, many people, I'm sure, took the money line because, I mean, it was all adding up and made sense. So, but that was how the 2 games yesterday that came through that, were good shots and good bets. So, but I'm going to leave it there because I need to get going to work. But today there is one more game, and we have the New York Liberty at Connecticut Sun. So I'll have my notes out on that pretty soon. Hey, Dan, Lucas. Good to see Dan. Even the Buffalo Bills can't blow at 28. Right, yeah. Oh my. So yeah. All right, I'll leave it there. See you guys.